Hello everyone, this is the Prussian Prince with a bit of an interesting video, so to speak. So, in this video, I'm going to be testing the performance of various Total War games, starting with Shogun 2 and ending with the recently released Total War Warhammer to see and compare how they run. And I'm mostly obviously looking at Warhammer, and I'm not gonna spoil for you how it runs for me. So we'll just wait and see. Anyway, in Shogun 2, well, obviously I have a 1440p screen, so I'm running it in 1440p, borderless windowed. Everything is on minimum with large unit sizes, obviously, because yeah, I'm just going to keep it on large unit size. It mostly affects the CPU. But anyway, so what am I running? Running 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM from Kingston. I think it's Kingston Fury or something like that. Or Savage. I don't remember which one I actually had. I think it's 2400 megahertz. Anyway, I think that's the Savage. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, why am I running it on these settings and why does it show that I'm using this graphics card? Well, as you know, as you may know, I used to have a 780, but recently it broke down, so I'm left using this old HD 5850 graphics card, which yeah, is fairly old. Basically right now it's pretty much the low end of things, so yeah, it will be interesting to see how it runs on this. Again, these are the settings, DirectX 11. Let's just head back. Let's go to a custom battle. You can see the values up here in the top left corner if you're interested. So, I'm just going to bring as many units as I can. Well, no, actually 20v20. That's going to be the idea here. I wish I had like, oh yeah, obviously can do like this. So I'm gonna bring a ton of these units as well for the AI. Gonna put it on like, let's say rice fields. Where's rice fields? I'm going to hit play. Also, I am using debug camera, which does actually provide an extra FPS if you zoom out. Like it's actually better performing than the regular cam. So here you can see, running excellently at over 140, even 150 FPS. This is very nice to hear. The optimization is great. So we got the Black Taurus here. Even if I press space, which as you can see, space is a big FPS killer in all Total War games, I'm still sitting at 114 FPS, which is just brilliant, right? So let's just go ahead and click start battle. Just for the lulz, move up our army. See how it actually performs while engaged.
The game speed control.
Wow. Why do we have the pedal advice? Nope, we should have no battle advice. We don't need any advice. Okay, so I'm just gonna fast forward things. Even fast forward, it's still running so well. And only 32% CPU usage, considering I'm recording at the same time on OBS. I'm not using NVEnc or anything, it's X264. So at the moment, performance is great, and yeah, it looks terrible on minimum settings, but I mean, what can I say? On minimum settings, you just want it to perform well. So yeah, moving up the Black Tortoise. Obviously I'm gonna die, because he's gonna get first shots on me, but it's just for performance purposes. Yeah, he's doing actually quite some strange things here with their lines. This is very weird. But yeah, you can see FPS is still sitting at 140. Again, it's still 130, 140. Look, it's running so well right now. I'm zooming around. It's still 130 FPS. Whatever I do, it's not even dropping below 120. I press space and it does drop, as you can see. But look at how smooth the experience is, right? Like this is very, very smooth. Still killing all these units, doing so well. Still running very smoothly. Oh, these guys haven't engaged here though. I should move them up a bit so they can engage too. So yeah, it's running quite well right now, as you can see. I mean, I'm not even dropping below 60 FPS. I mean, I'm not even dropping below like 120.
A unit is running from
Just
the
look at how
battlefield,
amazingly well the game is running currently, and how fluid it is. I can see that it's actually so easy to control my units with this high FPS. I don't have any input lag or anything of the sort. Just a very fluid experience on minimum settings. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I dropped to like around 100 FPS for a moment there. But yeah, this is running exceptionally well right now. So yeah, nothing else I can do other than, yeah, let's just pause it. And yeah, very satisfied with how it's running on minimum settings here. This is very, very good performance. Nice scaling as well. Pretty good optimization. But yeah, let's move on to another game. And here we have Rome 2 running. As you can see again, 1440p, borderless windowed, advanced options, everything as low as possible except blood effects. Those are always going to be off. So let's go to custom battle and let's choose some armies. So I'm going to go with Rome. Let's pick the Boyai here. Going to give him, let's say, Oath Sword General. No, let's give him Noble Horse General. And then spam out the, why not Sword Followers? Actually, I can't bring the max, so let's bring just a bunch of Celtic Nick warriors, you know. Let's do some axe warriors too. No, let's just do axe warriors. Just keep the one unit type. Let's add as many as we can. There we go. So here I'm going to do a similar thing. Pick the Legatus, whatever. And then just pick a ton of Hastati. So this is pretty much grassland. Let's start the battle and see how it's running, right? On the exact same settings as Shogun 2. So yeah, right from the get-go, you can actually see that compared to Shogun 2, there's a massive FPS drop. It's running as about half as good as Shogun 2 already, which is not very nice, obviously. I mean, it's still comfortably above 60 FPS, but it's not running so well, so to speak. But anyway, let's hit start battle. And now we're gonna see the enemy army soon. I'm going to hit fast forward. Going to move up. CPU usage is around the same value, which is nice to hear, but the FPS is much, much lower. Because on min settings, as you can see, this game is a lot more taxing than Shogun 2 currently. I don't know if it's because of optimization or what, but I feel like the textures have been changed here. As you can see, the minimum looks a lot better, but it still looks terrible, of course. Because it's minimum. So yeah, I'm just going to move up here. Going to go in for a yellow charge. And see how it runs while in melee, while engaged. All the clicking though. Oh, forgot one unit. Oh well. So let's see how this goes in terms of FPS values. Sadly, I can't see the FPS values too well because it's blocking it. The Rome 2 thing. 65 if I'm correct. Yeah, now it's still sitting above 60, dropping slightly. But it's still running fine, right? The minimum settings look a lot better here than the ones on Shogun 2, but obviously, as you can see, it runs a lot worse. Compared to Shogun 2, which honestly you don't want that. Like, they should just kept the scaling as it was in Shogun 2, just have the minimum settings look like absolute trash, but then bring you the most FPS. I think that's like the ideal scenario. I mean, I think they did a really good job with the Shogun 2 settings on minimum. So yeah, they should have done that again. So yeah, FPS value is quite nice here. Still holding above 60, which is really good. But it's not quite as good as Shogun 2, so I'm going to give Shogun 2 the win here. With how they did things. So I'm going to go for the rear charge here. So I mean, it's still running really well here. I'm still going through the units and such. Just running excellently. But yeah, I guess there's not much more to show here. Just going to move on to Attila. And here we are in Attila, 1440p, borders windowed, everything on the lowest settings except for unit size. It's on large. Then let's just go ahead and go into a custom battle. 20 units is Kingdom of Mercia, 20 units is Kingdom of Charlemagne on this map. And let's see how it goes. Will it run better than Rome 2? Even better than Shogun 2? We'll see. Alright, so as you can see, already from the get-go, we're hitting sub 50 FPS here. We're at 46 right now, so it's not too encouraging. You can see it's running quite a bit worse compared to Rome 2, and much worse compared to Shogun 2. So again, the scaling here is quite bad for the low-end systems, as you can see. So people with low-end systems are gonna have an even harder time here. So anyway, as you can see, GPU really does matter. If it's low-end, it appears that CA opts to not really provide the best scaling for low-end GPU users. They'd rather the game look like, I don't know, slightly less crap, but run a ton worse, as you can see here. Which, honestly, I don't think that's how everybody prefers it to be. I mean, if people wanted it to look better, they'd just up the settings from low to medium. I mean, everybody who puts the game on low does so because they want the game to run as good as possible, right? As well as possible. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing, as you can see, obviously. I mean, why wouldn't it be? They just always up the minimum settings every game by quite a lot, so as you can see, the FPS is very low compared to Shogun 2 and still quite a bit lower than Rome 2. So this is not very good. You can tell that I'm not pleased. And it's on the same settings as well. So anyway, just gonna start attacking. Once we see the engagements, once the engagements start, we should see some FPS dips potentially. Oh, this guy is just like walking. Okay. So you can see FPS is at 44, but we'll see how it goes once the engagement starts. So dropping significantly below 40 FPS, as you can see here. This is not ideal here. Meanwhile, in Shogun 2, these engagements would sit at above 60 FPS for sure. Yeah, this isn't looking too great at the moment. 34 or even 32 FPS, so it's almost hitting sub 30 FPS. Not quite. Still above 30 FPS. So yeah, not looking good in my opinion at all. I'm not a fan of how they're doing the settings, optimizing for the low end. So yeah, 40 FPS still here, but yeah, that's because a lot of units are off the field and it's still not running poorly. I mean, it's still not running well. It's running quite poorly, in fact. Yeah. Yeah, this is about all I wanted to show in Attila, so let's head on over to Warhammer. And it's time to showcase Warhammer. So, again, 1440p, borderless windowed, settings, all minimum settings here. Nothing turned on. Let's go ahead and get into a battle. So, what am I gonna pick? Well, let's go with Empire. Pick a cheap lord and then spam out the regular spearman. Meanwhile, here let's also bring a cheap lord and spam out the spearman at arms, of course. And see how it actually runs here. But yeah. We'll see. Still waiting for the game to load up. Okay, there we go. So, what can we see? Let's see how the units look on minimum settings. Looking much better than, for instance, Shogun 2's minimum settings, but still, you play on minimum for FPS, not because of how good you want the game to look. If you want the game to look good, you bring it above low. However, you can see something that is obviously very, very annoying and very, very sad. Look at this FPS value. You see how low it has gotten since Attila? Well, yeah. Also, bear in mind that there's something else that I need to mention as well. So, see how in previous games, large unit size meant 120 men per unit in general for like infantry. Well, large unit size in Warhammer is only 90. So here, not only is it running a lot worse, so to speak, it's also running a lot worse with fewer men, as you can see here. So yeah, this is not looking good once I hit battle. I mean, we'll see how it goes as well. I'm going to move up my spearmen, but the experience is very sluggish right now. Just going to move the units up. But yeah, whether I go in close, whether I zoom out a lot, the FPS values are so extremely low. Quite insane. This is the worst scaling that there has been out of all the games that I have tested, as you can see. It's very, very unfortunate. I mean, I would have okay, fine, a bit of an FPS difference would be alright, but this much, really? Something is very strange. Okay, so let's just hit regular play. I can't click attack orders quick enough for this. So yeah, it's not even, it's never getting above 30, and now as we engage here, it's probably gonna get even worse. Look, dropping even below 20, 17 FPS. 16 FPS, 17 FPS. So yeah, this is really a lot worse. Yeah, scaling here, not that good at all. This is also with matched combat removed, bear in mind, so it should improve performance, but clearly it's running extremely poorly, so yeah, it's that. Yeah. It's by far the worst out of all the games tested, as you can see. Performance is quite abysmal. AI still not using these last two units, just deciding to defend the general. So yeah, honestly, min settings should always be catered to getting the most FPS as possible. Not like making the game look good on minimum. It's not what you should be doing. And it still obviously looks horrifyingly bad on minimum still, so like, they didn't achieve anything with increasing the minimum settings. So, yeah, just downright appalling performance. Not much more to say, honestly, so I do hope you found this video useful. And yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, follow me on social media. I shall see you next time.